y'all some more. I got some good old beef meat in here. And what I did with this meat is I cut it up in cubes and put Montreal steak seasoning on it. And then I got some cornstarch. Don't want to crowd the pan. I don't want no liquid to get in there yet. That's all solid oil. Throw it all in there at one time and you'll get a big, you'll start it to steaming. You don't want to do that right away. You could do this with deer meat. Same way. I've taken and put some water in that same pot I've been using, but I didn't wash that pot. I didn't want to wash that pot. I want all that mess that was up in that pot, I want it to go in here. But before I can add that water, I gotta do some things. I'm going to do this here startup in real time. Once I get the meat brown, remove from the pot, remove most of the oil from the pot, add in the onion and bell pepper, soften that up a little bit, and then add back the meat, and then add the liquid. Then I'm going to let it all come up to the boil. I'm going to add just a capful of some of that seasoning gravy mix. And a few other little choice goodies. Alright, get these out for a sec. Turn that fire off for a minute. Get back up there. Pull that grease out. Now, I'm not going to chunk that just yet. I got it right here, it's on standby. In case it needs a little bit more added back. Nobody likes no greasy food. Be all greasy if you left all that grease in there. You don't want greasy. Put a little salt, not much. Pepper. Garlic. I minced this up all myself for hours and hours and hours, and then I stuck it in this little jar and I kept it in the refrigerator. I peeled it and it took me hours and hours and hours. Actually, it took me about 30 seconds to grab it off the shelf at Wally World. Alright. Meat back in. Give her a stir. That's all. Put that water, that little bit of water in there. And all of this here water in this thing here. Alright, let's see here what we're going to do next there, Paw. Got to bring it all up to the boil. Once it starts boiling, all that that's on the bottom all peel off. Now you take some of this here kitchen bouquet. You see how it looks now? I'm going to put just a cap full of it in there. Maybe a little tad more, not much. And stir it. Now this do more than change the color of it. This stuff got seasoning in it. If you put too much, it'll be nasty though. Put a little capful in there, that's all you need. The French call that a demi-glaze. They spend hours and hours baking down bones and breaking it down and straining it out and then boiling it down and cooking it down until it's a nice demi-glaze, and then they saves it and puts it in stews and stuff like that. But we don't have to. All we gotta do is go to the store and buy some. I like the kitchen bouquet, but if you don't like kitchen bouquet, you can achieve the same effect by adding keycap mayonnaise, which is thick soy sauce. Just let it come up to the boil. Once it gets up to the boil, I'm going to cut the fire down about halfway, cover it up, and go in there and continue watching the football game. And then Well, about dark 30, I'm gonna make a pot of rice to go with it, and have a few of these here refreshments, of course. Salute, amigo. If I find time in my busy football watching schedule, I might let y'all take a peek in on the final production. Oh yeah, one other thing. You got to see all this leftover grease and stuff, and partial blood and things that I drained in that little basket skimmer. Well, don't throw that in the trash. Put that on your puppy dog's food. Put it in his dish, and put it on your kitty cat's dish. They'll love you for it. Make the fur grow on their hair, on their back. Alright, while I'm waiting on this to come up to snuff, I'm going to add a few ingredients. First of all, I've got some 5-spice powder. Okay. And it was $3.49. Boys, you don't. I mean, this will last you a lifetime right here, 'cause this stuff is strong. That's a level quarter teaspoon. Don't you dare put no more than that in there. Not unless you just want to taste allspice, or unless you just want you want to put a hint of this in there. In other words, you go putting a bunch of that stuff in there, that's all you'll taste. You give her a stir. That's one thing, that'll make it taste Chinese-y. Another thing is, I'm going to put in about the same amount of this here sesame oil. You do not need a lot of sesame oil. You'll have an all sesame oil dish if you just put a ton of it in there. I put the same amount of sesame oil in there. It's going to be a hint. You're going to know you're eating Chinese. Y'all should smell it in here right now. Alright, there, Debbie, what else you going to put? I'm going to go ahead on, and I'm going to put, you can buy these, this especially, inside that, this is no joke, inside this spoon, you've got a quarter cup, you've got a tablespoon, and you've got a teaspoon. That's what those little markings are. They've had this spoon around for 10,000 years. Probably the second thing that they invented after they invented the wok. Anyway, I'm going to put in a tablespoon of Chinese cooking wine. In there. This is how they do it over there, the boys and girls at the restaurant. Alright, this is 3 crabs right here. 3 crabs fish sauce. I'm putting the whole spoon full of that. That much. Won't have to put no salt and pepper from here on out. One last thing. Is this hot chili paste. Sambal olive. Put me a big glob using that quarter teaspoon thing. There you go. That's your heat. And later on, after it's been cooking a while, I might add one more thing, and I'll show you what it is. Not going to add any right now, because it'll just cook out, but this is oyster sauce. I may put a little bit of oyster sauce in there after a while. And that's about it. We'll let it all cook down until that meat gets tender as butter. Cover it up. Cover it up and let it kick. Let it cook and let it kick. Later on there, boys and girls.